I have written romance for many years. I first started to dabble in that genre when I was 15 or 16 years old, when my best friend slipped me a romance novel and she was a voracious reader, so I started to write specifically for her. Since then, romance novels have gotten me through some pretty terrible times, and I just feel like there's a power in romance that isn't acknowledged enough. So when I stop to think about why I write, it isn't separate from the genres that I write. Yes, I also write historical mystery, and I very much enjoy that puzzle and working out where all of the pieces should go. But my true calling, and I think it always will be, is romance. Because romance has the ability to help you heal. It helped me heal from a lot of trauma, and it continues to help me heal in that way with every new book that I read that strikes a resonance in me. This year I've been fortunate enough to have found several books that strike that resonance. Right now, the one foremost in my mind is the book that I'm currently reading, the one that I can't put down because it is meaning so much to me right now. And that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book is about a woman who has fibromyalgia, and she's constantly in pain, and she just attacks her life with such bravery and wit that it really inspires and empowers me to continue. This book doesn't show her as a damsel in distress, and because of that, it's really helping me find renewed courage to face my future diagnosis, which might also be fibromyalgia. Before that, I read Aurora Blazing, which featured a widow who had been abused by her late husband and had PTSD, and again, it was a book that did not paint her as a damsel in distress. She was in charge of her own happiness. She was in charge of finding her own balance and making her own choices and fighting her own fights. Earlier this year, I read A Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole, and I think that one is probably my favorite book of the year because, again, the heroine was abused and she rose above that of her own volition and decided for herself that she deserved happiness however she wanted that happiness to look. One by one, all of these books have helped me to examine parts of my past and parts of myself and come to terms with them. And when I write, especially now, I write to give readers that same feeling. I write to give an escape to people who need it, and I write to lighten someone's day, and I write so that readers and myself can take away the note of empowerment that I infuse into every one of my books. The heroine finding her independence, being strong enough to face her fears, accepting parts of herself that the rest of the world might not accept. It's hard, but I write every book because I have a story to tell. And the longer I write and the longer I live, the more that story will morph. But at its core, I write so that I can give others what other authors have given me in times of need. And because I have found solace so often in romance, romance is always where my loyalties will lie. There's just something magical about believing in a happy ending, in fiction and in real life.